Okay, so this is my first video. I was unable to do the first 2 days of the videos that I promised because my partner's home for the holidays and driving me batty. I have no privacy in the house. So finally I decided to come outside the house even though it's cold and just do it out here. Otherwise I'm going to get way behind. So anyways, today was day 3. I'm up to chapter 11. And my, hold on. I have a little jiggle here. Sorry. Don't look, don't look, don't look. It'll make you seasick. Okay, so anyways, I'm on chapter 11 in Genesis. And hopefully you can hear me. Chicken coop. Anyways, I've been writing down, as I read, I've been writing down things either I found problematic or contradictory or just silly, absolutely silly. I didn't realize how much, what would you call it, mythology was included in the Bible. There's some really strange things. And now that I'm reading it as an atheist, I think I notice it more. I think I just didn't quite realize it or even understand what I was reading before. I assumed stuff just because that's what I was told from the pulpit. Sorry about this jiggling. Nothing I can do about it. So anyways, let me get to page 1. Now I found out it's not the King James version I'm using. It's the is it the New Standard version? I believe. Okay, so let me start here where gotta find my page 1 here. Should have this ready. Let's see. So it starts out where we start out from day 1 and just get some highlights here. I'm going to walk you down to the mailbox while I do this. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, as we all know, the first 2 chapters, there's like a difference in the biblical accounts of the way, the order in which the universe was created. Now, day 1, chapter 1 has one way. So day 3, there was some confusion even in the different, like let's just say you just took one literally and the other one figuratively, like the stories of the creation. You're taking one literally. Both of them have things that just contradict themselves or just don't even make sense. Like in one version it says God created light and darkness, and then it'll say something like he created the sun. It's like, well, wait a minute, what was creating the light before the sun? It's like he created night and day, and then like the next day he'd separate the night and day. It's like, what do you mean he separated the night and day? They're already separated. I don't know. It's really weird, but like, I was raised a Baptist. I mean, this flies in the face of any denomination that teaches you to take the word literally, because like you have these 2 creation stories, and then the same pastors who will tell you to take the Bible literally, but then take one of the, they would have to say take one of these creation stories figuratively, because you're out of sequence with each other. So, there goes the Bible literalist. Now, I'm just going to skip through that. This is why I don't like trying to do all this in one video, because there's so much I wanted to cover. but I just couldn't. Now, in the New English Version, it's not till, like, Adam and Eve aren't given names right off the bat. I don't know if this is the same in the King James Version. I don't remember. But Eve doesn't get her name till chapter 3, verse 20. Adam's name isn't mentioned. He was just called the man until Genesis 4:25. So I don't know if it's the same in King James. Let's see. There's some contradiction. Oh, this dry ear is making me cough. Give me dry throat. Oh, one of the things I had a problem with was Cain. The story of Cain. You know, Cain, according to the Bible, Cain killed Abel. And God cursed Cain. Now this is the New English or New English Version or whatever it is. Standard English Version, whatever. I'll put it in the description which translation this is. It said God cursed Cain, saying he wouldn't be welcome in that part of the land. And I wrote down here, I think that's what's saying. It doesn't quite make sense. I couldn't make sense of the wording. And then it says, and he wouldn't be, and Cain says, well, what do you want me to do, God? Something to the effect of, what do you want me to do, God? Nobody will accept me in any land. Like, I guess they want to kill him. But why? It doesn't explain why. Like, why would they want to kill him? Okay, so then we got to put a mark on him to make it to where people would know not to kill him. It doesn't explain what that mark is. What does that mean? And I'm not going on the racism thing here. Maybe God turned him white. It's the only thing I can think. But then again, how would they know that means not to kill him? As a matter of fact, if you make him different like that, they'd want to kill him. Maybe they think he's a ghost or he's diseased. You know, this pale thing with no melanin coming down the road. I mean, that would be scary. That made me think they'd want to kill him. But anyway, so then it says, and Cain settled in the land of Nod, and he became a ruler of, I don't think it was Nod. I think he had a son called Enoch. And he became, and Enoch, he named the city, he built up a city, named it Enoch, and became a ruler of that. So, I mean, that contradicts his statement that he wouldn't be accepted anywhere. So, I don't get that part either. Okay, mailbox. Putting the mail in the mailbox. There we go. Now, so I can get back to. I'm not hanging on to too many things. Okay. So then I'm sitting there thinking, well, some sort of punishment that nonsense is. He becomes kills his brother and gets to become the ruler of his own city. And then, okay, now this one is like total pervert angels or spirit beings. Okay, so this one, chapter 6, might be verse 6. This gotta be verse 6. Okay, so it says that supposedly the sons of heaven saw that the women of the earth looked attractive and they had sex with them and produced offspring. And It doesn't explain that in the Bible, but in the footnotes, it says that's how giantism came into being. That's what created the giants. And I can't remember what, it was like a whole tribe. And I don't, you wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have known what the heck that meant if there wasn't the footnotes on there. Like, I don't know. But that's part of the mythology that's included in here. And, I guess this is chapter 6. Let's see, I'm trying to find out more things okay, now, I know a lot of people probably don't know this. I didn't know this until the first time I read the Bible, but everybody says Noah had the animals come in 2 by 2. Now, in one part of Genesis, it does say animals come in 2 by 2. But then, it's like 5 verses later, maybe not even then, like 2 verses later, it says it's 2 by 2 for unclean animals, and 7 pairs, which would be 14, of clean animals. So now you'd have 1 pair of unclean animals, and then 7 pairs of clean animals. So even though not really a blatant contradiction, it just seems like, the literacy was very low at the time. Or maybe something was added in later. They said, wait a minute, we can't just have 1 pair of every animal because they die. I don't know. So we'll make it like the unclean animals were more likely to live through all this and reproduce on the other side. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Then, okay, so now here's the big one. I'm up to, I think I was reading this today. Supposedly, I'm going to show you around. Supposedly, there was supposed to be 40 days and 40 nights of the flood, right? God told Noah to get provisions for 40 days, get the animals in. Now, okay, get this. From the time God told Noah to get the animals in the ark, he only had 7 days to get all them animals into the ark. Okay, 7 days. That doesn't even make any sense. How could you possibly wrangle some animals in? These wild animals. Because the Lord said, well, I don't know if he said, if it was stated that God said this before, but I know he said it after, that there was domestic and tame, or they said tame, not domestic, tame and wild animals in the ark. Like in the end, I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if this was stated before, before Noah put him in all these animals in the ark, but when animal let go of when God told Noah to let go, let the animals out, it said that the tame and the wild animals came out of the ark. So obviously the tame and wild animals went into the ark. How can Noah have done that in only 7 days? Noah and his sons and daughter-in-laws. So anyways, I'm going to show you some stuff around here. I'm going to walk around. But anyway, so he says get provisions for 40 days. Stuff to eat and whatever they needed. Well, then it says, okay, let me see. Chapter 7, verse 24. It's saying after 150 days, God remembered Noah. He said 40 days. That's 110 days after he said, he would all this would be over. So that's getting me to think, how did they live that long if they only had provisions for 40 days? And I don't know. So that was something I never really cued in on before. Or maybe I didn't, I had just forgot about it. But that's another thing that we're told one thing and then we find out, wait a minute, that isn't exactly how it all went down according to the book. Okay, now, okay, of course, then, interesting side note, Noah, according to this new standard version, whatever, Noah originally sent out a raven to see if the waters had subsided. And the raven, the raven came back? And so it was then that after that, Noah sent out a dove. And then I think he sent out at least one other dove. Like the first dove couldn't find any land to, no trees or whatever to land on. And so the dove came back. And then 7 days later, Noah sent out another dove. And I think that one came back without anything. Either way, the last one came back with a, well, no, he did send, okay, so one or two doves later, the dove comes back with olive sprig. So no one knew that at least trees were shown. The dove was able to access trees. And so then 7 days later, he sends out another one, and then the dove doesn't come back. So he knows the dove. Death was not an option, apparently, for the dove. So Noah says, okay, there's land, and we can get off this thing. Can't you just look out the window? You are obviously got a place where you can let this dove go outside, so obviously there's some type of window, some type of opening. Couldn't you have just looked out there and seen? I mean, wouldn't that have been easier? I don't know, just whatever. The rainbow first appears, and this is where I put, chapter 9, verse 10, this is where I put their domesticated animals, domesticated and wild animals. So that's what I noticed. It's like apparently humans had domesticated animals by this time, because it did say there were domestic and wild animals. So not all animals were wild by this time. Chapter 9, verse 13, there's the rainbow makes its appearance. And this is where I'm thinking this is kind of, the mythologies kind of coincided to make in this book. I think just like other folklore, I think this story was made up just to explain how the rainbow came into being. Maybe a twofold, maybe to explain how the lands became separated by water, and also to explain the origins of the rainbow in folklore. Just some kids' tales like Aesop's Fables or something. Mother Goose type stories. Now here's the thing. Now this is where I ended at the end of chapter 11 today. I went through this pretty fast. I wanted this to be longer. I was hoping to do this day by day, but like I said, being stuck in the home with somebody, I have no privacy to do these videos. Anyways, so now after Noah, let me go down here. Oh, look at this. Old Deuteronomy. There he is. Anyways, thistle. the chickadees like this. In the springtime, they like thistle. Anyway, so this last one, chapter 9, verse 21 through 27. Okay, after Noah gets out, the flood thing happens, whatever. Noah plants a vineyard, and apparently he made some wine, and he gets himself drunk, and he's naked, just I guess like naked on the floor. I'm assuming in his tent. I think that's what it was. He was in his tent, and his son. Oh, I can't. Was it Ham? I believe it was Ham, who had a son named Canaan. Okay, so Ham goes. I'm just going to say it's Ham because I think it was. Ham goes in there, sees his father naked. Goes out of the tent, tells his other two brothers, so it's Ham, and tells his other two brothers, and so his other two brothers go in there with a blanket, and hold the blanket in front of them and turn their back and cover them up so they don't see their father's nakedness. Now, before we had all these sexual purity, men had more than one wife and all this nonsense. And, people marrying their own relatives. I don't see why nakedness could have been an issue. But of course, this was written, hundreds of years, thousands of years later. So by that time, crudity had arisen, so maybe this was some, they added that in there just to make the story a little bit better. But anyway, so the sons hold a blanket and go back to their father and cover their father with a blanket so they don't have to see him naked, so they don't see him naked. So when the drunkard, the alcoholic, wakes up, somebody must have told him what happened, and he curses Ham and Ham's son Canaan. What did Canaan have to do with any of this? And what was it wrong for Ham to tell his brothers? What did he do wrong? This is not explained. Like, what did he do wrong to get a curse? And the curse was, good old Noah. The curse was that Canaan and Canaan's offspring would be slaves to the other, I guess it'd be tribes. They're calling, I don't understand how this works. What, each brother is a tribe? I don't understand. But anyways, the tribe of Canaan would be slaves to the other brothers' tribes. See, I'm still not getting this. What, does each offspring have their own tribe? I don't know. I don't understand. We have a bazillion tribes. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so wait a minute. So the drunkard streaks himself because of his own gluttony. And he's blaming somebody who wasn't even there for his own trampiness. Okay, so the two-bit whore is blaming the person he raped for him raping them. What were you wearing? It reminds me of the old question, what were you wearing that you lured him to rape you? Whatever. Anyway, so that just, is just, if I've been calling him Moses, I'm sorry, because I get Noah and Moses mixed up. I don't know why. But anyways, Oh, in this part, what was this? This says nations. Oh, and this says, and there was one part in here, because, okay, I was always taught that at the Tower, when the languages were differentiated at the Tower of Babel, that was a curse from God. But here it says, chapter 10, verse 5, that it says nations, these sons made each their own nations, each with its own language. So I'm thinking, what the heck? Another thing not making any sense to what I was told. Okay, and so now here comes, okay, we're in chapter 11 now. Now, here we are at the Tower of Babel. Now it's saying everybody spoke the same language again. So just the previous chapter, it said each tribe had its own language. Now it's saying everybody spoke the same language. And then somehow everyone got to Shinar. Nimrod, Cush's son Nimrod. There's so much. I wish I would have been able to do this day by day. He went into the land of Shinar, and anyways, this is Nimrod. I guess Nimrod's the ruler. And so now everybody somehow gets all over there. Maybe they didn't get to the fall of Babel yet, because here's where I end. Chapter 11, verse 39. This is where I ended today. Nahor. Now, okay, I've heard people say that Abraham, it's called Abram here. Abram married his niece or his sister or something like that. Actually, according to the New Standard Version, whatever, Nahor, who was Abram's brother, married his niece. Not his great niece, his niece. So this was kind of hard to understand. I think there was a little bit more inbreeding in there, but the way it was worded in this, it's better than the King James Version, but it's still, King James Version is really bad to try and understand. So, I mean, it's not saying much. I think, I don't know, there was some intermarriage in there. It was kind of hard for me to understand. I don't know. But anyways, so far I see a lot more mythology now than I did when I read the Bible through. Like, I read the Bible through 3 times when I was a believer, from cover to cover. I did this Bible through a year thing. Now, I did the other 2 of the 3 times. I did where you'd read part of the New Testament and part of the Old Testament. But I didn't like that. Of course, this was pre-internet, so we didn't have, now I have access to the internet where I can just go to a site where you don't split it up between New Testament and Old Testament. You just read it all the way straight through. And just 1 text block every day instead of 2. And I like that better, so I'm not getting confused about storylines. Because this is not the only book I'm reading right now, so, I got enough storylines going in my head. But, I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, so when I read the Bible through the other couple times, I read some things that made me mad, made me confused, made me angry, made me happy, made me wonder what the heck they were talking about. But this time, I never saw mythology. And I think maybe I just thought, well, I'm just not understanding this right, or this means something different than what I'm thinking it means, or I just didn't understand, so I just skipped through it real quickly. There he is. There's old Deuteronomy. But this time, now that I can admit, these stories really make no sense. They're very bad. They're harsh. They're cruel. And God's a jerk. I'm definitely not a woman.